a light blue background with a dark blue oval in the center with text within it which says Rising Flame presents Empower to Rise 2021, a fellowship for youth with disabilities. On the right of the text is a majestic phoenix bird emerging from flames below in orange, red, and yellow.
Hello everyone, I am Nidhi Goyal. I am the founder and executive director of Rising Flame. Rising Flame is a non-profit based in India, and we work towards rights of people with disabilities, particularly women and youth with disabilities. We're a self-led team, by which I mean we comprise of women and non-binary persons living with disabilities, chronic illnesses and other conditions themselves. We work towards the larger vision, a larger vision of having equal opportunities and access for all, of building and creating a safe and enabling environment, and absolutely working towards and achieving social integration. And we work towards this larger aim through 3 layers or levels: igniting individual transformation, working towards community change, and influencing ecosystems to alter them. Well, what we want is that persons with disabilities, particularly those standing at intersections, are heard, are seen, have the space and the voice, and can lead from the front. And this is where youth come in. Young people with disabilities, of course, have dreams, just like anyone else. They have the will and the potential to grow and to lead. But something stops them. What are those things, and what really stops them? What stops them is social mindsets, inaccessible infrastructure, and exclusionary systems and practices. Let me tell you a story of my life. When I was in college, pursuing my undergraduation, post-graduation, I remember a few things around that time. That my parents had to buy a scanner so that I could scan my books, convert them, and then make them accessible for me so that I, as a blind woman, could access them. While all other non-disabled students simply had the right and the ease to have a library card and access all the wonderful books over there. I remember calling up these friends from the community and saying, hey, can you please share the crack of this software which costs around 40 to 50,000, and I'm a student who's not earning. But I really need this software because that would help me operate the computer independently. The list could go on and on. But I remember, and I concluded a few things from that period, that I did not read as many books as I would have liked to then. I didn't have enough free time like other non-disabled peers of mine had. But lastly, and the most important thing, was that I learned that if I had to pursue education as a disabled young person, the system somehow put the onus on me to make this happen. And this is what we want to change. We want to change this because we want young persons with disabilities to have the access to opportunities and resources. And therefore, we have launched Empower to Rise Fellowship. This is an annual program that provides support to young people with disabilities pursuing education in one form or the other, and who are working really, really hard to achieve their goals and to fulfill their dreams. Inaccessibility does put a pressure and an added burden on students with disabilities, and that's what was reported to us when we were collecting data for our published research, Neglected and Forgotten, which captures the impact of the COVID crisis. Students told us that digital classrooms were inaccessible, be it the platform, be it the study material that was provided, be it the participation in class, which lacked any kind of captioning or interpretation. Students across disabilities had something to say around the inaccessible environment and the barriers to education. And so Empower to Rise Fellowship was conceived to provide 2 kinds of support to young students with disabilities. 1, a financial support of rupees 50,000 to each fellow, and 2, an individual mentor who would work with them for 6 months, who would guide them and walk with them on the path to success. We opened the call for application and responses started pouring in. It was overwhelming. It was heartening and heartwarming, both. It was heartening to see the kinds of support that students were asking for and how much support was needed. Students across disabilities, across genders, across geographies were sending in applications.
52 applications from young people between 16 to 25 years with diverse disabilities, including blind and low vision, deaf and hard of hearing, speech disabilities, locomotor disabilities, cerebral palsy, intellectual disabilities, developmental disabilities, psychosocial disabilities, and multiple disabilities. A pie chart on the left indicating the following data on geographical location. Rural 13%, urban and semi-urban 87%. Another pie chart on the right indicating the following data on gender. Women 35%, men 59%, gender not specified 6%.
And the applications were pouring in English, in Hindi, in sign language, and audiovisual formats. And what did we do then? We went through a rigorous and a very difficult internal shortlisting process. And then we simply went to the experts, to our esteemed jury of 3 members. Parmesh Shahani, Vice President, Godrej Industries, and founder of the award-winning Godrej India Culture Lab. Rahul Bajaj, Senior Resident Fellow, Nidhi Center for Legal Policy, and Rhodes Scholar, Oxford University. Amba Salelkar, Bridge CRPD-SDG Officer, Capacity Building Unit, International Disability Alliance.
Hi, this is Parmesh. I'm part of the jury for the Empower to Rise Awards by Rising Flame. Amba, Rahul, Nidhi, the entire Rising Flame team and me have just gone through one of the most incredibly difficult judging sessions. Each application for these awards has been so special. We've been so moved hearing about the stories of courage and resilience from disabled youth across the country, and it's been very, very hard to choose just a few winners. Everyone who applied has such an incredibly powerful narrative, and we know that we can only award a few winners, but we hope that this award galvanizes a lot more of you to have confidence and faith in your own self. And I hope that everyone who's seeing this actually comes out and supports more initiatives like Empower to Rise, so that Rising Flame in years to come can create more and more of such awards to empower more and more incredibly talented disabled youth across the country to reach their whole potential. So Nidhi and team, thank you so much for including me as part of the jury. It's been one of the most amazing experiences of my life. Lots and lots of love to everyone who participated, all the winners, and all of you.
It was an honor to get the opportunity to judge the Empower to Rise competition. I was completely blown away by the sheer diversity, ambition, and stories of the 18 candidates whose profiles we had to study and make a decision on. Many of them reminded me of a somewhat younger version of myself when I was in college, determined to break down barriers and defy all odds. I'm confident that with youth with disabilities like these, India's disability movement has a bright future in store.
One of the things that struck me as a panelist to decide the ultimate beneficiaries of the Empower to Rise program is the fact that we have youth with disabilities, the future of the movement, the future of the country, who are still struggling for basic statutory rights, accessibility of learning materials, accessibility of college campuses, of assistive devices or access to assistive devices. And to me, that underlines the fact that as the disability movement goes, we really need to ensure that the laws that many of us fought for, the conventions, the protocols, all need to be in place. And in effect needs to be available for everyone, because this is what this program sought to do was go beyond the minimum that people were able to do, but it appears that even those thresholds are not being met, and that's something that I am concerned with. But I'm also really delighted to see that the youth is so vibrant and look forward to what they have to accomplish. Thank you.
And we finally have our 3 Empower to Rise 2021 fellows.
Photo of a young person, R. Anya, wearing a black polo shirt and black glasses, holding up the Empower to Rise trophy, which is in the form of a golden bird with wings. Below the photo is the text. 22 years old, from Kolkata, West Bengal, studying at Rabindra Bharati University, Calcutta School of Music, has autism spectrum condition.
I want to make more and more experiments with music, combining tunes from different countries and different genres.
Photo of a young person, Mansi Tyagi, wearing a blue top and white pants with long hair, holding the Empower to Rise trophy. Text below the photo: 21 years old, from Muradnagar, Uttar Pradesh, studied history and political science at Miranda House, visually impaired.
My goals are determined by my will and are not affected by what others will think.
Photo of a young person, Shireen Sultana, in a white kurta, holding the Empower to Rise trophy. Text below the photo: 23 years old, from Hojai, Assam, 4th year undergraduate, studying biology at IISER Kolkata, lives with multiple chronic conditions causing disability.
I dream of an accessible Indian academia, and I would do my best to solve the current inaccessibility problems.
And we are hoping that their journeys contribute to systemic, social, and holistic inclusion for them and for all others.
Empower to Rise 2021 by Rising Flame. Rising Flame's social media links as follows: website risingflame.org, Twitter Rising Flame Now, Instagram risingflame_now, Facebook Rising Flame Now.